introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching that talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology. Really, dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher-principal collaboration. Things he gives to you will have you take your drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education. Leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with his dissertation taught to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions. The teaching that talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology. Really, dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Great day, leaders. Welcome to the Speaking Life in You Leadership Live Stream. I am your host, Dr. Joe Griffin. It's week 39 where we talk leadership dynamics, personal and professional growth, educational trends, and provide solutions to help you with school improvement. Let's go! Woo! Excited you all. It's week 39. Excited all about it because we got a good one on tap for you today. As you know, as always, we definitely aspire to bring you value, definitely want to give you the input and the power that you need to be empowered and do the things that you do in education as well as in life. And as always, I want to ask you to let us know where you're streaming in from. Don't be shy. Put it in the chat. Let us know where you're streaming in from. It's great to have you. Again, so thankful. It's always a blessing to walk on ground, solid ground, as they say. So we're thankful for that opportunity. I also want to check in with you each and every week. I like to know how you holding up. How you holding up? How is life treating you? How are you adjusting to the things that's happening in your atmosphere? What's next? What are the next moves? How you holding up? You know, we got to always think about our mental health, our mental wellness. And with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, it brings me so much pleasure, so much joy to talk about our topic of today. And over the last few episodes, I think it's been about 9 or 10, we've been diving really hard into empowering educational communities, a guide for teacher-principal collaboration. And remember, that's the framework for collaboration. No other document or work like it, where you actually learn a framework on how to put collaboration together and what it looks like on teams and on your team, you know, and it comes with the professional development to match that. And with that being said, I want to definitely jump into some of our topics for today. And we're talking about joy. We're talking about cultivating it, what that looks like. And I just want to, first off, I want to start. And I'm gonna find this poem here for you. I want to read it to you, and it's on page 28. And this is coming from Home of the Blues: Poems for the Spirit, Heart, and Soul, part of the 3-book Spirit, Heart, and Soul collection. They say, Dr. Joe, I didn't know you write poetry. I said, well, I got to make sure that I also make sure to integrate it in there more often. And I actually wrote my first book with Joys and Pains of Life. It's not in print anymore. You can't find it. So I've definitely been on this joy journey for a long time. But joy. Joy is when I see myself in either of my sons. It's when an angel whispers advice in my ear. I used to feel big joy when income tax rolled around. When I've helped an elder, joy exudes. Joy is advising the youth to have a dream. It's the feeling of paying the month's bills. I felt joy when my kids were 5 years old and spelled a word. When I worked hard to reach a goal, I feel joy. Joy pervades when I see others joyful. It's sitting back on a full stomach to watch TV. I feel joy when I think about my freedom. When I'm complimented or encouraged, joy fills me up. Joy is when I'm blessed to see a new year or a new day. It's when I get that laugh that I've needed all week long. I feel joy when loved ones are happy. When a friend makes good on a promise, joy arouses. Joy is when I learn something that I never, ever knew. It's seeing and believing in the prosperity of the future. I feel joy at the thought of seeing heaven. When I realize life is still in me, my joy is strengthened evermore. Wow, you all. And y'all just pause with me. This battery is running low on this computer. I'm gonna have to switch computers on y'all in a second. Give me a second here, because we got a good one today. I knew this was going to happen. I hope that my mic continues to work. See, that's what happened when you order those. Joy is not about perfection. It's about the striving for excellence, you all. We're not going to ever be perfect, but we can continue to strive for excellence. And it's joy in being able to do just that. So we got to be able to ensure that at all times, joy is something that we're searching, but it's not about perfection. Joy is internal. It's inside of you. It's part of your commitment. It's part of your purpose. It's what allows you to have those joyful feelings. Joy exudes. Joy arouses. Joy is something that pervades. You know, joy is taking happiness to another level. Happiness is for the moment, but joy lasts. It's everlasting. See, joy, you can have joy even when you're sad, but because it's in your heart, it's a choice. Choose joy. Thus, it's a state of mind. We learned that we are in charge of our mental. We are in charge of what we're able to perceive and what we're able to believe. So we got to understand that means joy is within our reach. You know, we have to go through a lot of trials and tribulations in life sometimes to find it, but it's there and it's for us to have. Joy assists resilience. What you mean, Dr. Joe? How does joy assist resilience? Well, it allows you to be able to see the good in the bad. It allows you to be able to see the strength in the pain. So joy is able to give you that extra sense of resilience. They work together. They are like a duo, joy and resilience. And it just so happened that today our guest, Mrs. Turner, she's going to come in and we're going to talk strategies on cultivating that particular joy. And this is what you also got to know. Joy is something that you want to spread. It's something that you want to spread. It's contagious. So when you find joy in your life and you understand that that's one of the things that you actually work for and believe in and push for, that's what it's all about, you all. Let me find my biography. I'm getting ready to get my guests on the stage. Y'all saw me drop everything just now. changing computers out. I got you printed out, Miss Turner. Here it is. All right. Good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
Can you hear me, Miss Turner?
Yes.
Okay, I'm back on this bad computer. I had to switch out because this one died on me. The new charger hadn't come in yet, so I'm really trying to see how I'm gonna pull this off with this delay because the one on this one isn't working for some reason. The mic, I can't hear you, but I already know that you're being heard. So we're gonna do the best we can. I'm gonna with you being able to hear me, that's a good thing, and I'm hoping that everyone can hear you as well. Sabina Turner, born in Mount Clemens, Michigan, to the late Willie James and Claudia Mae Young. She's the youngest of 11 siblings, 5 brothers and 6 sisters, and is the aunt of over 100 nieces and nephews. Sabina and her husband, Arnett, of 27 years, reside in Clinton Township, Michigan, and are the proud parents of 2 sons, Arnett Jr. and Kyron, and grandparents of granddaughter Veda Rose. Sabina began her career in educating children at Blessed Arms Daycare, a licensed group daycare home that she opened in Mount Clemens in 1999. Its slogan, "Where children are the gifts from God," has served as a constant reminder of the value of children and the special place they hold in the world. In her 25 years as an educator, she's been privileged to work with children and adults in a variety of educational settings. She served as a parent educator on selecting quality early childhood and school-age child care programs, private tutoring, reading, math, writing, SAT prep, professional development facilitator, trainer, teacher, special education early development program teacher, lead teacher, and mentor teacher, dean of students, academic dean, middle school assistant principal of instruction, and K-8 principal. Currently serves as the K-12 District Instructional Support Specialist at Chandler Park in Detroit, Chandler, Michigan, Harper Woods, Michigan. Sabina is a scholar practitioner whose depth and breadth encompasses pedagogical practices of school culture development and the social emotional health and well-being of teachers. Her professional learning is taken to California, Illinois, Washington, D.C., University of Notre Dame, and abroad. She has a master's of educational specialist from Grand Valley State. And her motto is, "It's not about me, but it's about what is best for children." Her quest is to find the joy in everything. Additionally, she is a Macomb Celebration of Black Excellence Award winner, as well as PBIS National Character Award winner, NBC News Education Detroit Teacher Hall panelist, and she's a public service announcer for the Teach Scholarship Program. Welcome, 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 Mrs. Turner. Great afternoon.
Thank you so much. So
It's
happy.
definitely a pleasure to have you, Ms. Turner. Like I said, I'm having a few technical difficulties on my end, but it's definitely a pleasure to have you. Good to see you again for joining the Speaker Life in the You Leadership live stream platform. It's an honor.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to.
Yeah. So, man, let's jump right in. I read off a few awards that you've been able to that you've earned, through your work in character ed and school climate and culture and that particular piece. If you would just share us a little bit background on that and where that falls under your spectrum as far as school leadership, culture, climate. I know it's one of your passions.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be working at the same time to make sure I get in on this other side.
Absolutely. The PBIS awards for parental portals. And so it's very important that we understand that parents are an integral part of the student success and success of our schools and our school environment. And so the idea around the parent portal was actually an alternative to suspension. And so, where parents would come in and watch videos, participate in character activities with their students that spoke to the area in which the student was having difficulty and would be possibly suspended. And so I created a parent portal, whereas the parent could go online and work side by side with the students with these activities that spoke to the referral process as well. And then after they would complete the activities via video, community service, or whatever the case may be, then they would come in with me as being the school administrator to discuss what did the student learn side by side with the parent, and in what ways could the parent support their child and being more successful in the area of behavior that was so detrimental that they possibly would be suspended. And then what were the next steps? Where do we go from here? And so it was more of a preventative way to help students be in class on a regular basis and not be suspended out of school, not learning. And then the parent became a more partner with us at the same time. So that was through the Character Ed program out of Washington, D.C. And then the other one was for Character Idol. Our schools have character words, and I said, hey, what better way for students to demonstrate their true understanding and ownership of character words? And so they had an opportunity to put the character words on display. And so we had Character Idol, the show. And so we had poems, we had songs, we had skits. And so that was the other award-winning BIS on that one. And most recently, my peers, my community, they nominated me for the Educational Impact Award here in Macomb County. And so that was a great honor. Didn't see it coming, but that's not why we're in this work, right? We're not for fashion, show, recognition is coming. The awards is when you don't see them coming. And so when I think about an Education Impact Award, I think about when I go to my first grade students' graduations, and the parents say, look what you created. And then I come back to myself and be humbled and say, wow, a parent says that to me. And so when I talk about impact, it's not being all on the stage and world renowned and those type of things, but it's that grassroots in the community level. It's in the classroom where you build relationships with parents that last a lifetime. And I would tell my first grade parents, let's say at the graduation or promotion ceremonies, I would say, this is not goodbye. I said, if you want me to be in your life, I'll be in your life if you want me to. And so 17 years or so, whatever years later, to graduation, 12 years, here I am getting a phone call, or intermittently, will you tutor my child? Or what should I do about these decisions when it comes to the teacher, school leadership, or just decision on where my child should go? And so all of these awards just speak to the fact that I'm all in. I'm all in on every level, relationships, environments, policy, structure, systems.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So
that's powerful.
Environment, policy, structure, systems. Yeah. So,
Definitely. And got a little lag, like I said, but that is powerful. One of the things that I heard you say that really stuck out in that particular statement was that if you want me to be in your life, I will. And that's the type of connections that last. When you give them that type of encouragement and they know that you're in it to genuinely help them, and that even after this, even after your school, even after this grade or this particular school, if you want me in your life, I'll be there. I just think that's a powerful statement. I definitely applaud that attitude. We definitely got to have it. That's the only way you can continue to make a true difference, a true impact, as you mentioned, as far as with that. And what's the leader's role, would you say, in setting up a culture or a climate to be productive, to be what we need it to be, as far as emotionally safe, as far as we talking about joy, bringing that in? How does that play into culture or cultivating a good culture?
well, I'm always of the thinking of person first. When I work with the special ed community, we always talk about first person, language. And so when I'm thinking about a school leader's role in cultivating joy or a climate culture of the school that is conducive to resilience and joy, then we have to put the people first, right? We have to have the person in mind. We have to honor the people as well as the position, right? Building relationships, getting to know people on a more personal level, that we're just not in here doing a job, but we're building a family. And that's huge. A school is a family community, and everybody in the community has a role to play. And once everyone is clear on their roles, then we can rock and roll, as I say, right? And so it's important that the leader be solid, be clear, be personal, be available, be attentive, right? Be active, be empathetic. I often think that with the busyness of being a school leader, because school leaders have a lot to do. And sometimes when our staff come to us in the busyness of the day, we hear, but we don't hear. We see, but we don't see, right? So what does that mean? I hear you, but I'm not quite listening, right? And so with that listening comes an empathetic heart, comes an empathetic demeanor. I see you, but I don't see you. I don't see the you who you are. And so that's why sometimes staff come to work and you ask them, how are you doing today? I'm here. And so then that lends to there's something deeper there that hasn't been touched. It needs to be reached, because I'm just showing up physically. I'm a warm body, but my spirit, my heart, and my mind may be a bit disconnected from what actually needs to happen on today. My spirit, my heart, and my mind may be a bit disconnected.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I listening to the last part of it there, because I'm a little bit behind as far as listening, but so that was powerful. Something that you just said in that statement rang out as well. Don't see who you are. I see you, but I don't see who you are. And one of the pillars that we've been talking about during these last 10 weeks is individuality and diversity, being able to respect the individuality in each person. And to do that, you have to see them. You have to value them. You have to respect them. You have to honor what they bring to the table. So the fact that you mentioned that, and you are able to implement that in what you do as a support instructional specialist, that is powerful, Mrs. Turner. I definitely appreciate it. And that kind of goes into some of our other topics as well when we want to mention advocacy, teacher advocacy, and being able to ensure that we advocate for them, that they have a voice. What does that look like as far as what you do?
So the instructional support specialist, my main focus is new teachers as whichever they're credentialing or not credentialed, whether their first 3 years fresh out of college, or a credentialed person, but in a different craft, right? Transferring over. So advocacy, I'm in the trenches. I'm elbow to elbow with teachers, first helping them to build self-efficacy, that I have the confidence to do this job. So first I tap into, what do you bring to the table, right? Because when you graduate from college, you got all these, yes, I'm ready, set, go to teach. But in the methods class, they didn't directly teach you how to, when you step across that threshold, it is time to get it on, what actually to do. And so I advocate with them first, advocating with themselves, right? I have the confidence to do this. So first I'm helping them build up to, can I even do this, right? And then I meet them where they are. You say we meet children where they are, meet your students where they are, but how about meeting teachers where they are, right? And so I start with what they have brought to the table, then we build, and then we build. And I ensure that everything our teachers, I call it my teachers, need to be extremely successful, I ensure that I'm going to get it for them. And then I teach them the skills to how to advocate for themselves, voice. I remind them that you are a professional. There's professional ways to approach a situation, professional ways to respond. I give them the language, right? Sometimes novice or new to the field, they don't know what questions they can ask. And if I ask this, will I be sounding like I'm challenging authority? And so I'm teaching them how asking a mere question is not about challenge, but it's for inquiry and getting a better understanding of what you need to do. So I'm always going to bat for my teachers on every level. We cannot hold teachers accountable for things that we were not clear on. So I'm always clear as kind. Let's be as thorough and clear with the expectations for our teachers, because if we don't, then how do we justify holding them accountable? Okay? So I'm always in that. Where were we clear? Are we not clear? We got to get clear, because clear is kind, right? So I'm always in, like I said, in the trenches with the teachers, when working elbow to elbow, growing them into a space where they feel confident that I can do this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I absolutely love it. And I know that you do that. I've actually seen you in work, so I appreciate you bringing that perspective. And you mentioned voice, you mentioned language, you mentioned building up their confidence and things of that nature. Really, basically pumping into them so that they can be able to pump out, so that they can be able to be built up and give the students what they need. And as they give the students what they need, that was good. As they give the students what they need, what do you see as their most urgent or pressing needs? What are teachers' needs right now? I know we've been through a lot. It's been a pandemic. We've got uh, national changes in administration. We've got things changing locally and at district levels. What are some of the teachers' urgent needs that you've noticed?
This time of year. So let's go back, right? We are approximately almost 5 years, 5 years removed from COVID, right? But we still have some of the residual fallout and residual effects of COVID, not just on students, but on teachers as well, because they have a personal life outside of their professional life. And so then with the changes and what the education landscape looks like, that's another weight on teachers. And then what teachers experience on their daily basis on their job. So I just completed a 4-part series on cultivating teacher resilience. And that was the 4 Thursdays in April. And so when you say like, what are teachers dealing with now? They're dealing with everything. I mean, in everything, whether it's, okay, I got so much work to do, but not enough time. Okay, I have all of these programs and how do they align to one another where it doesn't seem like it's just one more thing to do. Okay, all the professional responsibilities that has what they believe has nothing to do with standing in the front of the room teaching children, right? And then but I still need my own personal growth. So when do I make time for me? For what I need as an educator to improve my pedagogy, right? So with all of those things in the air, this time of year, I do this series. This is last year I did it one session, 2.5 hours. This year I said it needs to be a series. And what I'm finding, teachers just need a space at their workplace just to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be me. The way we started out this series, we went way back. We went way back and said, who am I? Just getting in touch with, who am I? How would I describe myself? Right? What do I like to do? How would I introduce myself, me? And then we talked about where do those thoughts even come from, right? The social affiliations, the groups that you belong to, what has shaped you over time. And then we went to, well, how do people experience you? What do people say about you, right? What do they say you are? And then what do you say about, well, I accept that, or I reject that? I identify with that. Let me think about that a little more and make sense of it. So teachers need a space to talk. They need a safe space to be vulnerable. They need a space to say, you know what? I need a minute. No, I'm not okay today. And so this series, from what the survey said, was amazing. During that first day, we had some fun. as well. We identified who we are, the emotions, the emotional cycles, all those things. And then we had some beach balls. First day, we had to blow up those beach balls. And just to watch the participants blow up these beach balls. And some struggled. Some didn't have enough air. Some had a lot of air. Some had to take a break. And, and the comments and things that they became aware of. And the big piece of those beach balls were taking a pause when you feel that you cannot breathe, when you feel that things are overwhelming. Return to your breath. And then what do you do when you don't have any more breath to breathe? You take a pause, you stop, you inhale, you release it, and you start again. And so I believe that teachers need a space just to be vulnerable, to have honest conversation, and be an environment to feel that I won't be judged if I'm vulnerable. A safe space. And I just believe that schools have to become more safe, emotionally, psychologically, physically, so we can become that true community, the true family, where people can really say, I depend on that person. I trust that person. I care about these people. And I mean that inward care that's deep inside, not that surface level stuff. I care about these people.
That is powerful. What has shaped you? What are some of your beliefs that have molded you? Why is it that you don't want to use this particular strategy? Those particular insightful questions, and being able to set it up in a way that's non-punitive, where they can communicate openly. I love it. I'm a big proponent of it. We call them reflection circles, opportunities to be able to talk openly, to discuss those things that are interesting, discuss those things that are bothersome, worrisome, troublesome, whatever it may be, just open space. So again, that's powerful. I'm happy to hear that you were able to conduct such a powerful workshop. I know that those teachers have to be some kind of happy, because many times we don't even realize that resilience is something that you can cultivate, that you can grow, that it's a muscle as well. Resilience is something that you learn. You're not born with the power to know to bounce back. Some people I imagine have it naturally, but to know that there are systems in place to help you bounce back, that there are strategies that you can use, and that there's knowledge and information to help you with that. Again, that's powerful. I applaud your efforts in doing that workshop, Ms. Turner. I'm sure somebody on here listening, they might want to get you to come in and present it at their school. Who knows, So, thanks for adding that to the platform.
Initially,
you also talk a lot about teacher voice, agency confidence, and let's turn it right here a little bit for the leaders, because those are things we want our teachers to have. But what's the leader's role, and how can leaders shape a joyful environment? What can they do to ensure that those teachers have that confidence, that they know that they're believed in, that they're supported, and they have someone who they can trust in their corner as well? Those things that you mentioned. How does that work as far as leaders? What can we do?
Well, first, leaders have to have joy themselves. See, until you can't give away or share what you don't encompass yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So if a school leader wants a joyful environment, then the school leader needs to have joy, because what's in you is going to come out, right? If a school, let me just say this, everything begins with the school leader, period. And so a school leader sets up the environment for joy. So what does the entry of the school look like, right? What do the common areas look like? Is it what's the painting look like? Is the school clean? Do the floors sparkle? Does it smell good? These the acoustical things, the environmental things that make it welcoming first. But when we talk about the person, him or herself, they have to have it first, right? They have to show themselves as friendly, not friends per se, but friendly, caring, approachable, personable, all of those things that will lend to the fact that, oh, this is the place that I want to be. You know, it's not hard, it's not stringent, right? There's expectations, clear expectations for everyone who is in the building. The people are utilized in the depth and breadth of which they have the ability, right? People are talked to, the school leader talks to people with respect and confidence, and one recognizes the teacher's abilities and capacity. So that means I see you and I hear you, I know your depth. So how can I support you to be the best within your craft? But then how do I elevate you, show you the way to go to the next level? How do I invite you to a decision-making table, right? So your voice and voices of others can be heard. Where your ideas, opinions, understandings, backgrounds, who you are, could add value to decisions that need to be made. So that is what, one, again, going back to the school leader recognizing the person first, building that relationship with the person, right? So recognizing the person.
Joy is the answer. Joy is really the answer. And I don't know why it's so difficult sometimes, so hard for us to find it. I guess because we so often, due to society, due to things we see on TV, I guess particularly maybe how we grew up, we shoot for those short-term pieces of happiness versus joy. You know, happiness is for the moment, it's accomplishments, it's awards, it's degrees, it's this or that. But joy, it's that fulfillment. You know, it's whether that's happening or not. It's in that day-to-day process. And, you know, sometimes you have to step away from something to really know where your joy is and where your joy lies. You know, me being, and I'm being totally transparent, me being consulting every day, sometimes I miss those day-to-day relationships. I miss being with people every single day, making that impact, that sustainable, that is lasting, you know, because you can give people all the information in the world, but unless you're able to support the implementation over and over again, because we have to hear and see things 6, 7, 8 times, sometimes research says, before it actually becomes a habit, you know, before something actually becomes embedded. So that has allowed me to really see where the joy is in what we do as educators as far as connecting and empowering people. So what do you think, because you've been dealing with this, you've been working with teachers, we just talked about some of the needs, we talked about leaders' role in shaping it. What are some of the challenges in finding joy? You know, why is it that joy is so hard? So sometimes seem like it's so out of reach until you actually have those events, those experiences, those moments that have actually let you cultivate joy in yourself first, as you just mentioned, and then be able to spread out to others. Because as we build excellence in ourselves, then we want to empower others with it also. So tell us, Ms. Turner.
So, you spoke about happiness. We seldom even speak the word joy, right? And so it seemed like joy, the word joy is like a phenomena. It's something new. And so happiness is fleeting, is situational. I could be happy right now and I stub my toe, I'm sad, or I get some news on the phone. My happiness goes out the window. But joy is that deep rooted emotion that no matter the circumstance, it is still there. I can still smile about it. And so joy takes, at this point, work. People feel they have to work at joy. But joy is in, like they say, stop and smell the roses. We have to take a minute to stop and not even stop, just be in awareness of the things that are around us, the smallest thing. And there's a saying that says, I'm paraphrasing, pay attention to the small things because you'll find that they were the big things. And that's what I think about with joy, right? In full awareness. And when I'm thinking about joy, I'm thinking about mindfulness. There can be so many things coming at you. We have, the research says that we have 65,000 thoughts a day. And we make 10,000 decisions a day. With all of that coming at us, right? How can we still be in awareness that I got all these things coming at me, but I can still remain centered in peace? So joy is like a peace that's within, and it's unshakable to your being. It helps you to stay on your square, so to speak. It helps you to respond versus be reactionary. And so joy is like breath, right? And yeah. And yeah. So we as leaders, if we don't recognize joy or recognize the joy in us, then we have to start stopping and smell the roses. We're going to have to take some minutes to see, one, what are the things that make us happy? And then those things, out of those things, which one of those that when they make me happy, oh my gosh, I am real happy. And I'm bubbling over, right? So I believe that's where we start. We start at the things that make us happy. And then what takes us to that exuberance, emotional feeling of overwhelming elation, so to speak.
Joy is like breath. I had to write that down. That was good. Joy is like breath. Joy takes work. I like that. Joy takes work. I'm getting joyful just thinking about it because it's a joyful conversation. And to know that joy is possible, to know that you can really have it, it make you want to just keep passing it along. It make you want to share. Like I said, it's something that you want to share with other people. So I definitely thank you for your input today, Ms. Turner. Wow. We talked about resilience, advocacy, agency, a little bit about cultivating joy, leadership perspective, teacher perspective. How does all that come together and help you create a successful school environment? What does all that add up to? What does all that accumulate to? What do we, when we talk about cultivating this joyful experience, what are we working toward? What does that look like?
All this together looks like healthy relationships. I started out talking about the human capital that we encounter every day, whether that's our staff, our parents, our students, colleagues, how we want our schools to function. If this was my home, would I want to come to it every day? If these were my children, would I want them to be taught here? And if this was a relative or a dear friend of mine, would I want them to work here? And so we have to get back to relationship building. And I mean to the point where the empathetic nature is not just a SEL idea of the Castle framework. It's not just a SEL. It's about everybody working together, from the head, school leader, to everyone in position. There's a respect, is community, that we're all in this together, and that we all have something to add to the furtherance, development of where we want our schools to be. And so the joy part comes in when everyone, all stakeholders, feel that they are valued, that they are an integral part of everything that makes this environment great. When you're a part of a system like that, a family, there's no other need. I feel valued. They care about me. I have voice, right? Parents, I built relationship with parents. Parents respect me, right? I respect parents. I meet parents where they are. That's important as well. Everybody at every level, every role must meet each other where they are and respect that space, because through the training, the 4-part series, I used the book, The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. And as I'm talking, I'm thinking about everybody is showing up, doing their best. But whatever our opinions are, whatever their life has brought them at that moment, they are doing their best, right? And so if we all have that thought, that mindset, then there would be little room for all of these other negatives that come about, that can dampen, that can hinder, that can destroy a culture of a school. Right. So.
That mindset. That's mindset. I believe in that. I believe that, we can have all the professional development, even the personal development that we want to have, but if we don't get that mindset piece, that mindset training that goes along with it to help develop it, what are we really doing? Mm-hmm. If I don't know that I'm using stations because it's a culturally relevant strategy, it allows students an opportunity to socialize about the work, to interact, because many times in their homes they have multiple things going on. It accelerates the learning because you can cover multiple objectives, etc. If I don't understand the mindset, I can train you on it all day. Mm-hmm. But the implementation, it comes along with that mindset. And you have really, really brought joy to life. I feel like you brought joy to life today, especially with some of the quotes that you dropped as far as joy is the answer, joy is like breath, joy takes work. Those are powerful, powerful statements. And I hope they're listening. I hope our viewers are listening. I've seen we had a number of people in and out since we've begun, but I definitely hope that they are still enjoy from the conversation and using it for themselves, because that's powerful. Well, what key takeaways or advice, key takeaways and advice would you give to educators and leaders as far as cultivating joy, having joyful experiences in a joyful environment?
I was thinking about the subject matter today as it is written on the marketing materials, and it says, joy on purpose. That's huge. That means that I have to intentionally be mindful of the fact that I want to be joyful. I want to be able to identify things that bring me joy, right? So it's on purpose, intentional, right? I was telling it within the workshop, we're talking about, we started getting into joy very deeply. And I said, you know what? When I wake up in the morning and I open my eyes, I automatically smile. It's like my heart was already full of joy. And I set my intention on how my day is going to be. And as I process through my day, I'm intentional in that purpose, because that's how I want it to go. Now, some things, like I said, 65,000, thoughts a day, right? And then the strategies, okay, but when a situation comes, my body, my skin is like Teflon. It just rolls off, or it just bounces off. It repels. But that takes practice, right? Anything that you do on purpose, it takes practice, right? And so it's just like having your purpose in life. You're going to work at it, right? It comes with your why. I say the why attached when you're on purpose. It's about with your purpose in mind, or the desired effect or the outcome. When I'm doing things on purpose, like, what is my objective? When I'm thinking about joy on purpose, I'm thinking about that I'm being proactive about how I want to feel today. And so I'm setting things in place for that to happen. I'm thoughtful around it. Yeah, I'm thoughtful around it. And I am laser focused. So, and this is me all the time. I my nickname is Sunshine. And that's what I exude to people. And every day I'm walking in that sunshine, because what's in me, I'm giving it away to everyone, right? And I'm hoping that it's infectious. And so what I'm giving away that is touching someone, and they'll latch on, and then they'll smile at a student. They'll give some hugs and love, right? And they'll also walk lockstep with a colleague that's not having the best day. And so these are all takeaways when it comes to joy, having the strategies, return to the breath, take a pause, right? And just let things be simple.
I've got a couple of quotes that I center collaboration on, and I was just thinking about them because some of the verbiage that you used. Joy fits right in there with those as well. I say that collaboration is a journey, not a one-time event. So is joy. Joy is a journey. It's something, not a one-time event, it's something that we have over and over. It's continuous. I say that collaboration is a mindset, not a strategy. So is joy. Joy is a mindset. It's something that we have to purposefully, as you said, intentionally continue to develop in ourselves, continue to be aware, a big part of self-awareness. Then I say that journey is a mindset, not a strategy. So journey is a mindset, not a strategy. It's intentional, not random. That's powerful. That's powerful. So thank you, Mrs. Turner. Thank you, Mrs. Turner. You have been awesome today. I just thank you for blessing the platform with your sunshine. Thank you for coming onto the Speaking Life in the You Leadership live stream and speaking life into our viewers. That's what it's all about, so that we can empower others. If you would, who knows, someone might want to reach out to you. They might want to glean from your sunshine. This time they might need your services. They might need your help. They might just need your support. And I know that you're the type of person that's going to do everything you can to help someone. So if you would, maybe give them some type of way to contact you if need be.
Yes, most definitely. I'm all about otherness, and whatever I can be and of assistance to anyone, you can definitely reach me. My email is my first and last name, Sabina Turner 0529 at gmail.com. Once again, that's Sabina Turner 0529 at gmail.com.
Zero 0529. Your birthday, May 29th.
No.
Did I figure that out? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I figured that out or not, but that might be something. But definitely thank you for that as well. And as always, you all, I definitely want to allow you the opportunity to reach out to me as well if you need be. I definitely like you to have my information. You should have it. If not, DM me or email me, Joe at drjoegriffin.speaks.com. I definitely want to, again, thank Mrs. Turner for blessing the stage. And as always, I want to close you out. Let's continue to learn and to lead with love. Let's continue to seek wisdom so that we can find our true purpose. And let's continue to be courageous so that we can drown out all fear. Dr. Joe signing off. You are always speaking, always writing life in you. Have a blessed day.